Okay, this is a quite informal interview, but for me as a producer and composer, I would like to learn from the people who in the industry, which is JD. I think most people knows Pop Shuvit, and particularly your songs, which is Marabahaya, and I would like to ask particularly specifically about the song. Okay, from what I understand, the song itself is created like more than 10 years ago for film Impact Maxima, and from what I understand, so the song is a soundtrack for the film. And JD already told me that the song if I'm not mistaken, you told me that you arranged the songs by yourself. Is it true, JD?
Marabahaya, this song actually is now 14 years already, because this is actually 2006. So the story behind this, actually, the person that's really responsible, that I'm really thankful for putting this together lah, sebenarnya, is actually Dimas from Hujan. Right, he's the one who put it together. So yeah, so how is the connection macam tu? I will connect it back lah. Okay, right. So actually, of course, this song was used for the soundtrack as the OST for the movie Impact Maxima yang was directed by Ahmad Idam lah. Okay, so it so happens that he got a few people to got involved. Let me think again. Right. So as you understand the movies, the movie they star a few people. I think there was Awal Ashari, then Cat from Cat Farish from Rafiq also was involved in there. So and then like I mentioned tadi, Dimas from Hujan. So here's how the whole thing all join and connect back together lah. Alright. So I first met Cat and Rafiq because I was working on Rafiq punya second ke third album, the yang ada the bomb one lah, that album. So that album, I think I was recording, I played some guitar on it, and also I mixed one or two songs on the album, you see. So yeah, so that album was like 2005. Yeah, 2004-2005. I remember lah. Right? Yeah, I remember. Alright, so that's where I knew kenal lah with Cat and the rest of the Rafiq punya boys. Okay, and then lepas tu on the Rafiq album, there were a couple of engineers and a couple of producers who were working on it. So one of them was actually Dimas. So Hang Dimas, okay, really amazing, fantastic player, really cool, super nice, super humble guy, right? So he was he was put in charge. I think he was the music supervisor. So he was the person, music supervisor is usually the individual who's put in charge of, getting and assembling all the music, all the entire soundtrack lah for the album. So I already known him before that through working with on the Rafiq album. So that's how I knew Dimas, right? Little trivia, Hujan punya first hit single that memang break them on the radio, Pagi Yang Gelap, right? Was actually mixed by me right here. So that's how our friendship and our relationship connection goes back lah, right? I mixed a few other songs also on Hujan's first album lah. I can't remember, but Pagi Yang Gelap was mixed by yours truly lah. Okay. So that's how our network and our friendship, our connection macam tu lah, right? Ahmad Idam with Cat Farish, one of the stars of the movie. Cat works with Rafiq, was working with Dimas on the album. And so that's how we all get together. So the idea was for Impact Maxima, obviously dia punya jalan cerita is all about drifting, about racing, so during those few years lah, as you can see, memang all the movies that come out was like KL Drift lah, Pak Maxima lah, all this lah. So the trend lah was all this racing punya movie lah. Fast and Furious lah, basically lah. Okay, so obviously for the movie they wanted to find a theme song. So Dimas was the one who suggested to Ahmad Idam, right? Because his music supervisor said, hey, I know these guys. I know this band called Pop Shuvit, right? So they are popular in Japan, so to speak, because that time in 2006 was, that was kind of the peak of how what we were in Japan, because we toured Japan in 2005. We came back for our first tour in 2005. Then we did our second tour in 2007. So so it was like and then he basically felt that our style of music would be perfect for the movie lah. So the proposal lah. So Dimas proposed to Ahmad Idam, then say okay, right, good, cool. So we had our first meetings. So usually for for a soundtrack, right, it's very when we talk about a soundtrack theme song, the whole meeting, the process is actually a little bit more closer to how a corporate project is lah, to be honest lah. Okay, so you have to pitch, you have to sit down, you have to so we have to actually watch some of the footage of what the movie was about, because for us, I think myself, Moots and Uno, I think we have to understand lah, we kena faham, right? Oh, okay, so what's the movie like? What's the jalan cerita like? What kind of concept that they want? And true to the idea of and we do what we call like a brief lah, like a little briefing session lah. So like in a movie situation, usually if we do film scoring, kita panggil is like a spotting session. So you sit down, with the producer, with the director, and you watch, and then you decide lah, okay, what the music and how it's supposed to be like. Okay, and then one of the things during this kind of especially with film soundtracks and film score, right? Sometimes they use what we call like a temp. You have like a temp soundtrack, temporary track. So obviously diorang dah ada reference lah, so they have a reference ready. So the reference was the initial D song, right? Yeah, okay. So if anyone who says that, it sounds like the initial D song, yeah, it does, because like I said, because this is what the client wants, right? Because the reference, you have to understand that when you are working with a in a film punya situation, in a film punya context, you have to also sort of meet apa the client wants lah, what the director wants, what the music supervisor wants, concept is like that macam tu, right? Of course it is very suitable, because Initial D, the theme song is very very kind of a J-rock influence, and so comes that Pop Shuvit punya influence memang comes from that as well, from a lot of Japanese bands that we love, that we love to play with, right? And the word actually for the Japanese band's style over there is not really called J-rock tau, right? J-rock is like the more mainstream glamorous kind of bands out there. That's more J-rock. The word that actually used is called, and I'm not lying to you, it's called mixture. Yeah, but the way they pronounce Japanese accent, mixture, M-I-X-C-H-A, good. It's pronounced like that. So we took that direction, that concept, all right. Where with Initial D you have like a rock song, fast-paced, energetic punya rock song, and mixed with orchestral background, because there were strings and orchestra in the back. So I take that concept, we took what our influences are, we sort of combined everything, and while sticking to that same concept, we delivered it according to our style lah. So yeah, so you talk about the arrangement and everything. Yes, there was that reference, right? But I actually borrowed a lot from the bands that I knew, the Japanese bands that I knew with around that time. So yeah, so the one band which I think was very very big influence on me and the rest of Pop Shuvit also, and they turned out to be very good friends of mine. It's a band named Uzumaki. Yeah, right. Siapa yang tengok Naruto will know what Uzumaki is lah, right? So Uzumaki basically means like a whirlpool, like kind of a tornado, whirlwind. That's basically what it means. You see, like a spiral, like a whirlpool, right? You know, because it's like, oh, when the music plays, it's like, oh, you know, the whole crowd becomes like a ribut taufan lah, like a whirlpool lah. Okay, basically that's what happens lah when they play lah, and the music is like that. So that was kind of where the main influence is. So yeah, so I took those styles, we incorporated, you know, law elements of drum and bass. So obviously, drum and bass was a very very big influence on Pop Shuvit's when your music, when your style. If you listen to, I think all our, even from our second album, all the way to even our last album in 2011, which was the Cherry Blossom Love Affair, you will always find there'll always be the songs with the drum and bass influence and drum and bass element. That's what we were big, you know. We really really love and into that kind of style lah, right? So yeah, so to cut the long story short, yeah, so it's thanks to Dimas, thanks to, you know, there's always a connection lah. Thanks to Dimas from Hujan, right? And then how through Kat, who's starring in the movie, that's how he proposed. That's how Dimas proposed us to feature and to contribute the theme song lah for the movie.
The arranger myself, I also would like to know the process, because you told me before that the song is you arranged by yourself, if I'm not mistaken, and later on barulah you add the drums, the bass, but most it's like 90% of the song is arranged by you. Is it correct?
Yeah, if you talk about the music, it's not 90%, it's 100%. It's by me, right? So well, as a band kan, we have the way how we write and how we compose our music obviously dah evolve lah. We've evolved over the years. You know, when we started as a band, you know, when we're young, we're just fresh out of college and everything, you know, we all have a lot of free time, you know, no work, no class or whatever. So, you know, we always like come together lah. So the traditional method, I think the first album and second album, how we did was, you know, we always got together, and actually first album was we always work it out in the jamming studio, right? Always kena traditional lah. Let's go jamming studio. Dulu our usual punya hangout is jam studio dekat SS2. I don't know whether you remember SS2 jam studio, right? Right, that's a legendary place, man. Yeah, in fact, that's the place also where we auditioned for Positive Tone, you know, with Paul Moss and everything. So we actually auditioned. That's where we auditioned there, and then that's where we got signed. So, right then. So yeah, so our whole process memang macam tu. But obviously, my background being a I studied music production and technology at ICOM. So I always had wanted to be an audio engineer / producer kind of a guy lah. So that was memang my background, my study, and my love, my passion was already in that. So that obviously helped a lot, you know, to have a producer / engineer in the band, you see, because what this meant was that I could start doing productions, right? I could always start producing, and in fact, that's how the process kind of evolved lah, right? So we evolved to a point where usually we start with the music first. Usually mungkin a riff or some kind of a idea or a melody. Sometimes either myself or DJ Uno or AJ, my bass player. So will start with an idea, and we know each other so well that I know, okay, right, this would be the kind of a drumming style or drum pattern that my drummer Rudy will play. Okay, this is how, this is how AJ, what sort of bass lines he would play. And then okay, alright, this is the space where I can leave it for everyone. We got to a point where we really know each other so well, our each other's styles. So that's why, it's possible for one person, like say for myself, to just work on the music and everything, and everyone just later on comes in and fits in and fill in and re-record their parts lah. So yeah, so 100% we start off, especially with, one thing especially with movie and film score, you always want to, or even corporate music lah, you want to start with a demo. We start out with just as much as possible we just start with programmed drums and use all the media as possible, because if you're dealing with clients or with directors or something like that, mana tahu, they will come back with the feedback and then ask you to change this and change that, so you don't want to start off straight away, oh jom kita record the live instrument, because after they come back, oh can you change the arrangement or tukar tu. But fortunately, thankfully, right, because Dimas was the music supervisor, they just gave us a little bit of feedback, so after the initial demo, everything was programmed drums, everything I programmed inside Cubase, the string arrangement, and memang the orchestral arrangement was very, very important lah, because that's memang the one of the highlights was the obviously the whole song. The intro starts off with the string motif, you see, yeah. So that's how the arrangement works out lah. Once it's done, once it's been approved, then we add our instruments on top lah. The live drums, then the vocals, everything else. Yeah. And then look, obviously, tak ada budget lah. This song, there was, to be honest, basically got no budget. Ask the director why no budget. Right? Okay. No, there was basically no budget. I mean, for and for this, I don't think we were paid at all. So the whole deal was okay. We write the song, everything, right? We do it, and lah, we also independent band ma. We also. We paid for, we basically did the song for exposure lah. Yeah. So in return for doing the song, obviously the part of the deal was, yes, we will get to use the song. We will release it on as a single. We will, they will promote it in conjunction with the movie. And also we'll shoot a music video for us lah in return lah. Key point of Marabahaya is actually, if let me be 100% sure. Yes, okay, I'm very positive. Alright, Marabahaya actually is our first ever BM song, fully BM song. Because sebelum tu, our first two albums, right, the Take It and Shove It album, the Here and Now album was mostly, was all English, was English albums. So no BM. Marabahaya was our first punya BM song. So yeah, and the reason for that also, I would say it's a lot to do with the timing, and also we're very, very lucky lah. Alright, because this was right after 2006. Is like right after our successful tour of Japan, where we came back. We came back from the tour in 2005, and the long story short is, after Malaysian bands, right, it's like after you have to do some kind of achievement, baru lah orang want to take notice and take notice of you. Before that, if you're a struggling independent band, nobody cares, right? So we've been struggling like that for for 2000, for like 5 years like that with and getting nowhere. And truth be told, when it was like 2005 for that 5 years, we were like, okay, it's not getting anywhere lah, right? Most bands, right? A lot of Malaysian bands, they come, they go for a couple of years, then they stop, they quit, when they couldn't get anywhere. We were on the point of, deciding to, okay, quit lah, Everyone is already moving on, because every one of us actually, while we're doing all this time, all of this, while we were playing music and doing shows and all that, all of us actually have our own day jobs. Most got a day job. All of us got a day job. All of us have something to work. I have my own studio and recording work to do. Everyone's got some backup plan and a fallback plan lah. Right. So yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, so the Alifika members, so they feature in the song, Dia ada rap in a bit kan.
Okay, so that actually comes later. So yeah. So Marabahaya ni actually there's two versions now. So the original version, which was for Impact Maxima, is only purely us. Is only purely the band Pop Shuvit lah, right? And but in 2008, we were nominated for MTV Asia Music Awards, right? So we were nominated for that, and part of the nomination was that they wanted us to perform lah, right? So this was MTV Asia Awards. They held it in like the Genting, I think. Yeah, it was done in Genting. So this is going to sidetrack again to another thing, if you don't mind. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is going to sidetrack a little bit. So throughout all the years that we've been performing and touring as a band, we meet a lot of friends along the way. We meet a lot of other bands, other hip hop acts, other artists from other countries. When we tour, we meet up, we strike out, and we create friendships, we create relationships. Right, so every time if we go to, let's say, Japan, or we go to Philippines or another country, we always have our friends there to help to sort us out, to take care of us, and maybe arrange all the touring schedules. They will help to set all these things. They'll get all the whatever the accommodation, they sort it out. They even sort out all the media interviews, all this kind of things lah. So it's kind of a network that we have, because they do that for us, and then if they come to Malaysia, we also help them. We do the same thing for them lah. We hook them up with radio, we hook them up with media, and all that. So we had this kind of informal thing going on between a couple of friends of ours. So in 2008, when they asked us to perform this, we were like, hey, since we wanted to make the performance really, really special, and because MTV Asia, you get like a not only Southeast Asia but like a worldwide, like a entire Asia punya reach to the audience, we decided, hey, why don't we make this kind of the network that we have, of our friendship, of the friends and the band that we have, why don't we make it and turn it into something formal? Let's make it something serious, all right? So that's where we came out, and we've officially formed the project EAR, right? Which EAR stands for the East Asian Revolution lah. Okay, all right. I use the word revolution now. It's like, oh, whoa, it's like very revolutionary. Okay, yeah. So it consisted of all the friends that we met along the road. So from Philippines we have Slapshock. From Thailand we have Dandy, right, who's a solo hip hop artist. Okay, the extended family would also include, like some of the bands that I mentioned. Maki from Japan, another huge band called Titanium from Thailand also. Saint Loco is from Indonesia. So we have representative lah dari all the ASEAN countries lah. Okay, and Alifike from Singapore, right? Of course, the extended family now includes people like Joe Flizzo. Even Joe is considered part of the EAR family. Now for our latest album, we have on board Wing Ming, for Love Me Butch. Emmett also from Butterfingers, right? Also is now part of the Project EAR family. The EAR version, alright. To be honest, that's actually unofficially or maybe officially for us, that is the definitive version lah. That is the actual, it's like, when we talk about so if we refer to like Japanese like Pokemon or those characters, the final form, final evolution, is like evolved into its final form already, okay, all that. So for us, that is like the definitive version. So yeah, I mean, the song was, we chose a song because, well, I mean, the idea actually did start from us lah, right? It started from even though the core of it, would be ourselves, Pop Shuvit, Slapshot, Dandy, right? But the core idea, was more of what Moods came up with. You see, the idea sort of started and came from him. So because of that, that's why, I guess that's why we pushed and say, hey, let's use this song lah. But what we did was, obviously we made sure, and I think also it's great because we're a good, like I said, we are hybrid lah, right? So Project EAR brings together all these different bands, right? Slapshot is metal, they are metal. Dandy is like pure club hip hop, right? And then Ali Fikir is of course more hip hop with a more Melayu style. So it's all these different styles which are they all contradict with each other, you see. Also different audience, different fan base. And that's where the beauty of Project EAR is. We unite and we bring all these voices together under one umbrella. So one of the key messages between with Project EAR has always been friendship, has always been unity, has always been has always been the feeling of togetherness and belonging of one, you see. Especially throughout all of not only ASEAN, but throughout the rest of the Asian countries as well. So because ASEAN, Southeast Asia we're so closely connected. If you want to tour, if you want to perform, it's just a flight only a few hours away. So it's not so hard. It's not as crazy like going all the way to the Western countries, Europe or US or something like that. We have all this great big audience and big market right here in our in our neighborhood. Don't have to go all the way to US and all that to in order to make it big and be successful. You have a huge market here in just a flight 1 or 2 hours away. Yeah. Marabahaya itself, the lyrics, right? If you look in the lyrics, the Marabahaya is about, it's not just purely about racing. The main message behind it is sticking to your dream and fighting and having a focus and aiming towards your goal, right? Aiming for that goal, aiming for that dream, right? There's nothing to your left, kanan kiri tiada, right? Hanya di depanku. Focus, so focus on moving forward, right? I love this quote. I know I'm getting a little bit political, right? So, right, I'm not left wing, I'm not right wing. I am forward thinking, right? Let's think and let's move forward, okay? Right? Yeah, but because it's a uniting song, and then obviously the music and everything, it gives everyone the semangat, and even all their lyrics as well. The lyrics that the Thai writers wrote, that in Tagalog by Slapshot, we all focus on that theme of unity. You see, that's one of the message. I guess that's why it really resonates with a lot of the audience and listeners, especially in Southeast Asia lah. Yeah.
And then congrats to you for inspiring people like us, indie people, to make a good kind of music like Marabahaya. And I'm so quite proud to say that I interviewing the right person, which is the real composer of the song. Okay.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks for having me on here. You know, we're not nobody, man. We're just writing there and just making music and doing what I love. You know.
Interview. So any last word for the composers and indies musician out there?
Oh yeah. I guess thank you very much. Thanks, Zainal. We've been really good friend. I've known you for so long, for such a long time, and we will always. It's always fun to always be talking about songs, about music and life and everything in general. So I always love my conversations and my chats with you, man.